From weathered parchments marked with mysterious X's to elaborate charts guarding secrets of buried gold, pirate maps have captured imaginations for centuries. Today, we'll explore how these fascinating documents shaped treasure hunting history and modern exploration. The golden age of piracy, from 1650 to 1730, turned treasure maps into powerful tools for both pirates and those hunting them. During this time, Spanish galleons loaded with gold and silver crossed the seas regularly, making them perfect targets for pirates like Blackbeard and Captain Kidd. These pirates often drew rough maps marking where they buried their stolen riches. They used simple symbols like palm trees, crosses, and landmarks that only their crew would recognize. The maps weren't just about finding treasure, they were also about keeping secrets. Pirates would often create fake maps to trick their enemies or split real maps into pieces, giving different parts to trusted crew members. This way, no single person could find the treasure alone. Some famous maps from this era still exist in museums today, though most have turned out to be clever fakes made to cash in on pirate legends. Pirates were clever when it came to keeping their treasures hidden, using creative ways to code their maps. They mixed common sailing symbols with secret marks that only they understood. A simple X might actually mean to walk 50 paces west, while a palm tree could signal a false location to fool other pirates. Some maps used special ink that only showed up when heated or got wet, while others had tiny holes poked through them that lined up with stars in the night sky. Pirates would also add fake dangers like sea monsters or impossible routes to scare away anyone who found their maps. They'd use local landmarks that changed with seasons, so even if someone found the map, they'd need to know exactly when to look. These tricks weren't just about being sneaky, they were about survival, since having a clear map could mean death if it fell into enemy hands. Let's explore some of the most famous treasure maps in history that still puzzle us today. The Oak Island map, discovered in the late 1700s, points to a mysterious site off Nova Scotia's coast where people have been searching for treasure for over 200 years. Then there's the legendary Treasure of Lima map, which supposedly leads to $60 million worth of Spanish colonial gold hidden in the Pacific. Captain Kidd's map to his fortune, buried somewhere in the Caribbean, has inspired countless expeditions. Though most of these maps have led to empty holes and disappointed treasure hunters, they've shaped how we think about buried treasure. Modern technology like satellite imaging and ground-penetrating radar has helped researchers take a fresh look at these old maps, sometimes revealing hidden details the original mapmakers never intended to share. The tools pirates used to make their maps were surprisingly advanced for their time. Sailors relied on three key instruments: the compass for direction, the sextant for measuring their position using the stars, and the log line for tracking speed. Making accurate maps also meant understanding wind patterns and ocean currents. Pirates would use landmarks like unusual rock formations, distinctive trees, or mountain peaks to mark specific spots. They measured distances by counting paces or using knotted ropes. The really skilled mapmakers could even calculate longitude by timing the difference between high tide at their location and a reference port. While these methods weren't perfect, they were good enough to get ships where they needed to go and, more importantly, to find their way back to buried treasure. Some of history's most valuable treasures lie at the bottom of the ocean, along with the maps that could lead us to them. The Spanish galleon San Jose, sunk in 1708, carried gold and emeralds worth $17 billion today, and somewhere a detailed map of its final journey might still exist. The Flor de la Mar, lost off Malaysia in 1511, went down with the personal fortune of a Portuguese governor and navigation charts showing secret trade routes. The Merchant Royal, nicknamed the El Dorado of the Seas, disappeared in 1641 carrying 100,000 pounds of gold. Its last known position was recorded in a captain's log that vanished with the ship. These missing maps aren't just about finding gold, they're important historical documents that could help us understand old sailing routes and trading patterns. Modern treasure hunters use these stories as starting points, combining old records with new technology to search for these legendary wrecks. The hunt for buried treasure has come a long way from just following old maps with X marks. Today's treasure hunters combine historical maps with high-tech tools like sonar, which creates detailed pictures of the ocean floor, and magnetometers that can detect metal objects buried deep underground. Satellite imagery helps spot old shipwrecks and hidden structures that match locations on ancient maps. Even artificial intelligence plays a role, analyzing thousands of old documents and maps to find patterns that human eyes might miss. But these modern methods don't make old maps useless. Instead, they help prove how accurate many pirates actually were in their map-making. Teams now use digital mapping to overlay ancient charts with modern GPS coordinates, often finding that old landmarks line up surprisingly well with today's geography. It's like having the best of both worlds, the adventure of following a pirate's trail with the precision of modern science. There's something magical about treasure maps that keeps us dreaming of adventure, even in our digital age. These maps tap into our basic human desires for discovery, wealth, and solving mysteries. When we look at an old map with its mysterious symbols and worn edges, our brains light up with possibilities. We can't help but imagine ourselves following the clues to find buried gold. This isn't just about greed. Studies show that treasure hunting activities trigger the same reward centers in our brains as solving puzzles or playing games. Maps also connect us to stories of the past, making history feel real and exciting. Every faded X or cryptic symbol represents a potential story, a secret waiting to be uncovered. That's why treasure maps remain popular in movies, books, and games. They represent the perfect mix of mystery, adventure, and the promise of reward. While many treasure hunts end in disappointment, some maps have led to amazing discoveries. In 1992, treasure hunter Mel Fisher used old Spanish shipping records to find the Nuestra Señora de Atocha, a shipwreck containing $450 million in gold and jewels. The Saddle Ridge hoard, worth $10 million in gold coins, was found using an old property map that showed promising mining locations. More recently, the SS Central America's cargo of gold rush treasure was recovered using the ship's original route maps and passenger accounts. These successful finds show that treasure maps aren't just fantasy. When combined with careful research and modern technology, they can lead to real discoveries. Even today, researchers are using newly discovered maps to track down lost treasures around the world. Not every treasure map leads to riches. Some were created purely to deceive. Take the famous Drake's Plate map from 1930s California, which fooled historians for decades before being exposed as an elaborate hoax. Or consider the infamous Oak Island maps, many of which turned out to be modern creations capitalizing on treasure hunting fever. Clever fraudsters would age paper with tea stains, copy old writing styles, and add authentic-looking details to sell their fake maps to eager buyers. Some scammers even buried small treasures to prove their maps were real, hoping to sell bigger fake maps later. These frauds weren't just about making money. Some were pranks that got out of hand, while others were created to gain fame or attention. While we often think of treasure maps as ancient scrolls, there are modern maps that could lead to incredible riches. Take the Gulf of Mexico, where drug cartels' lost shipments create accidental treasure spots marked on smugglers' GPS coordinates. In Southeast Asia, fishing boat captains keep secret maps of untouched coral reefs full of rare marine life worth millions to collectors. Advanced satellite technology has revealed promising locations in the Sahara Desert, where lost caravans loaded with gold and artifacts were buried by sandstorms. These modern treasure maps don't use skull and crossbones. They use digital coordinates, underwater survey data, and thermal imaging. Some treasure hunters even track shipping container accidents, where storms send millions in cargo overboard. The hunt for treasure continues. It just looks different now. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the fascinating world of pirate maps and treasure hunting. If you enjoyed learning these secrets from history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with fellow adventure lovers. See you on our next expedition.